Hello students, welcome back to the new video lecture that is on the topic Maxwell equation and electromagnetic waves. Before the lockdown we have started this module and we have discussed the topic on Maxwell equation and electromagnetic waves. So already we have came up to Gauss divergence theorem, but anyway we have stopped there. Then on online video lecture we have seen laser, optical fiber and other easy topics, so that the situation will become better and we can go ahead with the regular class. But it is not so, the situation is worst, so we have to go ahead with video lectures even for Maxwell equation also. So for easy understanding and better way to do this topic is I will just recap all those things we have done in the regular class, then I will move to the other topics related to Maxwell equation. So initially we have seen the vector product. In the initial class we have seen what are the scalars, what are the vectors, then we have seen what is vector product, multiplication of scalar and vector. We have seen multiplication of scalar and vector which leads to a vector quantity, but whenever you are multiplying two vectors, we have seen there are two different types of multiplication of the vector. So vector product, that is, one is scalar, or it's also known as dot product. Another one is vector or cross product. This we have discussed in detail in class. So scalar product or dot product, whenever you multiply two vectors, the resultant quantity is a scalar quantity. Resultant quantity is a scalar quantity. If you recall, that is a vector that is a dot product or scalar product. A dot B is equal to modulus of A modulus of B cos theta, or simply we can write it as AB cos theta. This we have seen. So there is commutator law holds good. A dot B is equal to B dot A, that is possible. Example also we have seen, that is work done. It's a product of force and displacement. So that is W is equal to F dot S. Similarly, even power is a scalar product. Force is also a power is a scalar product of force and velocity. So power we can write P is equal to F into velocity. This is also another example. This we have seen. Next, of course, for a vector product or cross product, in this case, whenever if you multiply two vectors, the resultant is also a vector, that is known as cross product. Simply we can write A cross B is equal to C, or C is nothing but, that is, modulus of A and B sin theta. Simply we may write this as n cap AB sin theta. N represents the direction, that is unit vector. So the direction of vector C can be obtained by right hand rule, right hand screw rule. You can use that. Example, angular momentum that is product of vector product of position vector and linear momentum, that is L is equal to R cross P. R cross P, that's R is a position vector and P is a linear momentum. Similarly, torque also is a cross product. Torque tau is equal to, again it's a cross product of position vector and force, position vector r and force. And even you can write another example. You can take, that is force on charge q moving on with velocity v in a magnetic field. Then vector product, that is q is equal to velocity v cross magnetic field b. So this is these things we have seen in our regular class. Next we have seen field. We have seen about field in regular class, what exactly field and other things we have discussed, and we also discussed about different types of field also. Simply we can call field is a set of function of coordinates of points space independent time. Maybe it's a simple way to say that, but you may not able to follow that. So let me take the other way of defining field. A field is a region in space in which a function u is defined. All points, thus in Cartesian coordinate, we wrote u is equal to f of x, y, z, which specifies its field. Now, we have generally defined a field. Field is a region in the space in which function u is defined all points. But now, which type of function is it is? So there are two types now. There are scalar field, similarly vector field. Scalar field is a region in space in which scalar quantity is continuous and defined by single value at every point of the position variable. It's called as scalar field. That also we have discussed. Also we have discussed example for that. Variation of temperature at various points along the metal rod of one end, which is heated while other end kept cold. This is called as scalar field, scalar temperature field. Variation of electric potential at various points surrounding charged body in an example scalar potential. That's also potential field we have discussed. Similarly, vector field, a region in the space in which vector quantity is continuous and defined by a single value at every point of position variable is called as a scalar field. So example, we took an electric field in example as vector field. Similarly, gravitation field acting on a body is also an example for vector field. This we have discussed. Then of course we have discussed, I am going very fast because all these things we have discussed in our regular class. Just I am recalling, so therefore I am not spending much time on this. Just I am just recalling. Then we have seen operator del operator. Okay, so this also we have seen. So actually del operator is a simple mathematics. Del is a mathematical operator, I cap dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k cap dou by dou z. It's a vector differential operator, or simply we call it as del operator. It should be noted that del is a vector. Should be noted that del is not a vector, but it is a vector operator. Whenever it acts on particular function or some parameter, then it is a vector operator. Del is as such not a vector. Del is not a vector. So del can operate in three different ways. So that is first one is it can operate on scalar function whenever which operates on scalar function, let us say phi, then we can write del phi. It's called as gradient, which can operate on a vector function, let us say A. So now there are two ways by which it can operate on vector function. One is dot product, that is del dot A. It's called as divergence. Similarly, vector function, it can operate on vector function, that is dot product, cross product, del cross A, that is we call it as curve. All these things we have discussed. Just briefly go through what exactly gradient, divergence and curve. First let us see what is the gradient. So let us see what exactly gradient. So to understand, we have to consider point P on scalar field having position vector, that is x I cap, y j cap, z k cap, and let the value of scalar field at every point, let us say that is phi of r is equal to phi of x y z, where phi of x y z is continuous differentiable function of three independent space coordinate, that is x, y, z. Then the partial derivative of phi with respect to x we can write it as dou phi by dou x, which is a measure of dou phi by dou x is nothing but it's a measure of rate of change of phi at point P along x direction. Similarly, you can write with respect to y, that is dou phi by dou y and dou phi by dou z. That is dou phi by dou z is nothing but measure. It's a measure of rate of changes phi at point P along y direction, and similarly this is along the z direction. So we got three partial derivatives, that is dou phi by dou x, dou phi by dou y, dou phi by dou z. We can construct at every point a space vector whose component along xy direction, that can be, this vector is known as gradient phi or grad phi. It's nothing but whatever we construct every point a space vector, okay, grad phi, that is equal to dou phi by dou x I cap plus dou phi by dou y j cap plus dou phi by dou z k cap, or simply we can write it as dou by dou x I cap plus dou by dou y j cap plus dou by dou z k cap whole into phi, or simply we can write it as del. This is nothing but del, so del phi. So del is called as del operator. So this is what exactly mathematics, that is what exactly we wrote. Now question is, what is the physical significance? What is the significance of gradient? So like a vector, gradient has also magnitude and a direction. Grad phi is also have magnitude and direction. To determine its geometrical meaning, let us consider dot product d phi is equal to del phi dot dr. That is nothing but modulus of del phi, modulus of dr cos theta, where theta is the angle between del phi and position dr. Now if we fix the magnitude of dr in various direction, that is varying theta, the maximum change in phi occurs when theta is equal to 0. That is, for a fixed distance dr, del phi is greatest. Del phi is greatest when we have the same direction as that of del phi. Hence, gradient of scalar field phi defines a vector field, magnitude of which equal to maximum rate of change of and the direction of which is the same as the direction of displacement along the rate of change is a maximum. If the angle between direction of displacement and del phi, if it is 90, that is, if it is 90, angle is 90, then gradient is equal to d phi is 0 or phi is constant. Example, we can take electric potential V is a scalar function. Let us say electric potential V is a scalar function, but minus del V, that is electric field intensity, is a vector which shows V, that is electric potential, varies in the neighborhood of a point. That's what exactly this says. Okay, so that's regarding gradient. So that's very significant. We discussed about water heater example and other thing. So I don't think that is now once again repeating the same thing is essential to understand it better. So already you know all those things. Just we are recalling all those things. Next, let us see the divergence. So that is the second type of del operation. Let us consider a vector field. A, then scalar product of the del operator and the vector A, scalar function, position coordinate, let us say x, y, z. So just dive, I will simply write it as dive A, divergence A, that is del dot A. So del, we know del is nothing but I cap dou by dou x plus j cap dou by dou y and k cap dou by dou z. Y plus k cap by dou z. Similarly, vector A can be written as I cap x component of A, j cap y component of A, k cap z component of A. So therefore del dot A is equal to I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y, k cap dou by dou z dot I ax plus j cap ay plus k cap az, or del dot A is equal to dou by dou z, x of ax plus dou by dou y of ay plus dou by dou z of az. That's what exactly mathematically. So divergence operation of vector yield a scalar function del dot A, which yields a scalar function. What is the physical significance of this? So to understand the physical significance, we considered a moving fluid. moving fluid. A, vector A is associated with the velocity of the field. That's what exactly we considered. If there is a divergence of at a point in the fluid, it expresses the rate at which fluid moving. If it is moving away from the point, then divergence is positive. That is, we have seen that positive, that is del dot A is positive, greater than 0. So that is something like this. Towards a point, converging towards a point. Similarly, del dot A is greater than 0, it's a positive quantity, so that is diverging. And del dot A is equal to 0, that is whatever coming in, that is moving away from the point P. So this is converging. Del dot A is negative, converging. Del dot A is greater than 0, positive, diverging. Del dot A is equal to 0. So whatever coming in, that is flowing out of the point. Example, another example, you can consider divergence of electric field line from positive charge. Positive divergence. Magnetic fields from a closed loop, the divergence is 0. That's what exactly we can see in what is that? Magnets. From North Pole, electric magnet will be diverging to South Pole. Whatever magnetic field coming out from the North Pole will be diverging at converging at South Pole. So that's why in the magnetic field we write del dot B is equal to 0. Whatever coming out will be going in. So we also say we cannot observe any magnetic monopoles. So that is why del dot B is equal to 0. All those stories I have narrated in a regular class. Why del dot B is equal to 0 and why you cannot get magnetic monopoles. Okay. Next we will move on to the curve. So consider vector field again, A. Then vector product of del operator and vector A, vector function position coordinate xy z. Then we define curl of A as del cross A. So that is, del cross A is equal to determinant of I cap, j cap, k cap, dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z, ax, ay, az. So del cross A is equal to I cap dou by z of dou y by ay of dou z plus j cap dou by ax of dou z minus dou by az of dou x plus k cap by ay of dou x dou by ax of dou y. Of course, here I made it positive by interchanging dou by az, dou by dou x of az and dou by ax, dou by dou z of ax. I interchange that. So therefore negative sign comes outside and which becomes positive. That is how I made it. Okay. So this is what exactly mathematically del cross A. So then I explain this by physical significance of this, that is considering a water flowing in a stream and velocity of v. velocity, the velocity of water independent of height but increasing uniformly from 0 at the back to maximum at the center. Then frictionless pedal introducing to the water, shaft vertical we found, rotate anti-clockwise and clockwise direction, that all those things we have seen. Okay, so finally at the center the velocity is 0, all this. So simply we told curl is nothing but ability to rotate, that's what exactly we understood. So example, magnetic field around a straight conductor carrying current is expressed as del cross H is equal to J. So how much it is able to rotate? So curl of a rotational vector is a 0. Static electric field that we recall, that is del cross E is equal to 0. Whenever static electric field, the curl of static electric field is 0, that's what exactly stood. So therefore this is very, very important whenever you solve the numerical problem. Whenever if the sentence it is mentioned a rotational vector and solve some vector, means immediately you have to understand that del cross is del cross of that particular vector is equal to 0. With that we can evaluate. That's what exactly the hint we can take always from that. Then we have discussed about the integrals, that is line integral and surface integral and volume integral. These three integrals we have discussed. Very quickly I will run through this, so I am not again going very detail about this. Line integral we have in the Cartesian coordinate we wrote line integral as, if you recall, P1 to P2 is equal to P1 to P2 AX dx plus AY dy plus AZ dz. That's what exactly we wrote, and we understood work done and other thing. We have understood moving particle along curve and what is the work done and other thing we have discussed. So I am not going to details of that. Similarly, we wrote surface integral. These things are covered in mathematics as well as I have covered in regular class also. Surface integral, simply we wrote the surface integral A dot ds is equal to integral P1 integral AX dsx plus AY dsy plus AZ dsz. It's a surface integral. So the meaning of surface, the subscript I wrote below the integral, the meaning is, if I write integral S, meaning is it is double integral. So surface integral will give the rate of flow of fluid through a surface. To evaluate, if you want to evaluate that can be utilized. Then finally we have seen the volume integral also. Volume integral we defined V A dot dV is equal to integral V I cap AX plus J cap AY K cap AZ dx dy dz. It's a volume integral. Again integral V, this indicates it's a triple integral. With respect to x, with respect to y, with respect to z, we have to integrate thrice. Here of course how exactly we have to evaluate that also I have explained. That is if I write dx dy dz something into the meaning, first you have to evaluate innermost integral, that is corresponding to dx, then next the dy, next dz. This also I have explained. Now, so after completing this, we have on to just Gauss divergence theorem statement we have seen in the regular class. In this video I will conclude here whatever the recap. So the next video we will go into Gauss divergence theorem.